All right. Mercy on Ken Weaver, mercy on Matt Murphy. Some showed mercy on me and voted for me, even though I declined to participate in Nincompoops in the News today because Jackson Williams was, well, he was destroying the competition. There you go, Jackson. Congratulations.
Would you say I grabbed you both by, not going to say that.
By the mommy-daddy button. Yeah. 4667 says Jackson wins by a length. I don't know what that means. TB says any story with a spider monkey automatically wins. My vote goes for Ken. There are enough Ken votes to make it a race and a couple of Matt Murphy sympathy nods, but I do believe Jackson might have this one. It's 7 minutes after 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up in a moment, and I would invite you to go ahead and jump on board. If you have any questions that you want asked during tomorrow's debate. Now, allow me to deliver the format to you. And while we're loading up some questions, we'll talk about Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s testimony on Capitol Hill today. Plus, I do have the Soggy Sweat commentary that is as good as I remember it. And I will try to do it some service a little bit later on. It is a classic example of political doublespeak. And some say that when he delivered this, here's the thing. Noah Soggy Sweat was the man's name. There's no question. He was a Mississippi legislator. I think I said Louisiana, and I was wrong. It was Mississippi. And there is no question that when he delivered this speech in April of 1952. The question is whether he knew what he was doing or not. There are some that say that he was just an example of political doublespeak. There are others that would suggest that he knew exactly what he was doing, and he was using this as a parody as to how some politicians speak out of both sides of their mouth. Either way, it is very hilarious. And if you've never heard it, you'll want to stand by. So tomorrow night, around this time, individuals will be filing into the cabaret. I'll be winding down this radio show and preparing for a debate between 7 and 9 p.m. tomorrow night, Friday night, at the cabaret. Now, the cabaret seats a lot of people. I think there are like 700 seats, but we are told that there are several still available, although not as many as you might expect. A lot of people coming out to this 7th Congressional District debate to hear the four main candidates. Now, how did we get to four? I think there are 12 in total.
I got one.
You got one what? A question?
A seat.
Oh, you got a seat?
Yeah.
Have you signed up?
No, but I'm going with you. I'm assuming.
You are going to be there. And y'all, Jackson was so cute. You know what he asked me today? Hey, Ken. Is Ken back there? Ken Weaver. Ken Weaver's probably busy.
Ken, you busy back there?
No, he's busy.
Oh, he propped his head up. Here he comes.
Okay.
What, boys?
Hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
You know what Jackson asked me? We're doing this big debate tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
And Jackson's going to be on site with old Matt Murphy.
All right.
Protecting me. He's my personal security guard.
Yeah.
It was so sweet. I felt like a daddy, and his son was going to the prom. You know what he asked?
What's that?
He said, Matt, what should I wear?
No, I said, what do I need to wear to this thing? I don't want to look stupid.
Okay, that was exactly the language that he used.
Actually, I think there might have been a foul word in there.
I said, well, what were you thinking? He said, polo and some pants. I said, you're all good. So you're all good.
Yeah, there you go, brother. There you go, Brother Jackson.
Didn't want to be another naked nincompoop in the news.
Collared shirt. I'm dying to see it.
I don't think you've ever seen me in a collared shirt. When the suits came in a few months ago.
Oh yeah. You were sucking up to the big bosses. I remember that. We were all doing a little of that. Yeah. As I recall.
They observed me for a show.
What?
Yeah.
Observed you?
Yes.
Just like staring at you through a glass?
No, they were behind me, like not in this room, but over on our sister station. That they were all in the room watching me produce.
That's got to be a bit of pressure.
A little bit.
You perform well?
I'm still here.
I mean, you graduated. You graduated to the big boy afternoon show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Congratulations. Yeah, Jackson will be out there. I'll be out there. So here are the rules. So I'll be on air, or here's how it's going to work out. The debate starts at 7. Thank you to Dan Mandis of Nashville's Morning News, because Dan has agreed to help me out a little bit in this. And he was the first I asked, and so I could have asked Chad, could have asked Chris, but I asked Dan Mandis. Love Dan, and he's a great guy, and he said, absolutely, Murphy, I'll help you out in any way I can. So I'm going to do our show until 6:30, and we will do a normal show. We'll have a Friday in the 4 o'clock hour. May or may not be talking to David Corlew tomorrow. That might be next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, but either way, we'll have our normal show leading up to the debate. We'll focus in on the pre-debate festivities around 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Dan's going to give us a 30-minute lead-in to the debate. I'm going to make myself scarce at about 6:30, get some water, probably change my clothes and put on a tie. So if you've always wanted to see Matt Murphy in a tie, I don't know why you would want to see Matt Murphy in a tie, but if you've always wanted to see Matt Murphy in a tie, I'll dress the part, and I'll wear the suit and tie tomorrow. And we'll crank up the debate at 7 o'clock. We're going straight through. There are no breaks. We have 4 candidates that will be on stage. Those 4 candidates will be in alphabetical order: Jody Barrett, Gino Bolso, Lee Reeves, and Matt Van Epps. Now, I had nothing to do with picking how the contestants were selected. I've made a commitment from now until the special primary election in October that I'm happy to have any candidate that is in the race on. That said, for the purposes of this debate, it was felt that we needed to do some sort of weeding out of candidates so that we could get more questions to the candidates that had more of a likelihood to win. And with that in mind, AFP decided that they would limit the debate to the top 3 polling candidates in a poll as determined by them, and any other candidate that demonstrated at least $250,000 in their campaign coffers. Why that amount of money? Because it's felt like in a short period of time that in order to overcome a 4th or worse place finish in a poll, you're going to need that amount of money to get the votes necessary to push you over the top, to be viable. Does that make sense? So that could have been 4 candidates, could have been 5, could have been 6, could have been all of them. I mean, if all of them have $250,000, all of them can be on stage. But it turned out that it was 4, the 4 mentioned by me. So if you have any question whatsoever for any of these 4, understand the format will be as follows. There will be an opening prayer. There will be the Pledge of Allegiance, obviously. We, the moderators of the debate, Michael Lotfi of AFP and myself, Matt Murphy of Supertalk 99.7 WTN, will introduce ourselves. We will then introduce the candidates on stage. The candidates will have, I think it's 90 seconds, might be 2 minutes. They will have an opportunity for opening remarks. Every time a question comes up, or even during the opening remarks, we're going to use a randomizer from ChatGPT to select the order randomly of who goes first. After opening comments, I will ask the first question. The questions that I ask have been written by me. The questions Michael Lotfi asks have been written by him. And we will alternate our questions until we reach the end of the debate. And it is time for a closing remark by each of the candidates. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer the question asked by the moderator, and the order of those answers will be determined by a randomizer in ChatGPT. For example, Matt Murphy, well, what question did you have, Jackson? We'll use yours as an example question of what you can expect tomorrow night during the big debate. What's your question, Jackson?
Do you believe that jorts are an acceptable fashion item?
Okay. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Americans for Prosperity Supertalk 99.7 WTN 7th Congressional District Republican Primary Debate. My name is Matt Murphy, one of your co-moderators. Let's get right into it. Question 1. Do you believe jorts are an acceptable form of clothing? And why or why not? So you got to ask that why or why not. Because otherwise they'd just say yes or no. And so I asked that question. Each candidate, randomized by the computer, will have then 90 seconds to answer. If they go over their 90 seconds by more than 5, so they'll be told when it's time to stop. You'll hear me or Pamela Furr, who will be there keeping time, or Michael say, stop. When they're told to stop, if they continue and I'm just telling you, this is the way it is. If they continue talking for more than 5 seconds, they will then have 1 minute docked from their next answer.
So they might as well go the rest of that minute.
Well, I mean,
hey, I'm just saying.
The second time they do it, they're kicked out of the debate. So I don't think you should probably do that.
So you do it on your last question.
Maybe
you grandstand for a while.
Sure, you can hold the floor for as long as you possibly can. That'll look good on you. It'll look good. And people yelling in the background, and you're not giving up this microphone. So that's the format. There are no follow-ups. I ask a question. Each of the four candidates answer the question, and then we move on to question number 2, and we repeat the same format until such time as the debate is over. We expect to get at least 10, maybe 12 questions in. Most of them will be very meat and potato issues involving the federal government of the United States of America, the role of the 7th Congressional District, representing the 7th Congressional District, issues that matter to those folks that are within the 7th Congressional District. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, I have an open question or two, and I'm interested. 615-737-9986. Don't put them in on the super text line. Call them in. That's where I want them. 615-737-9986. 5286 wants to know jorts for men, women, or both.
All. Jorts for all.
Jean shorts are unacceptable in any setting whatsoever. For whatever reason you think you need to wear jean shorts, you do not. Now, cutoff jeans are a different thing.
So
I don't consider cutoff jeans to be jorts. Jorts are designed to be shorts.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Cut off jeans, you just got real hot one day and decided you needed to lose the bottoms. And I say more power to you. More power to you.
9929 says, hey, Matt, sometimes you go over and then got to rush to the news with Ken. Should we implement these rules as a show?
I'm going to disallow it.
Why?
Because I'm the benevolent dictator of the show. That's why. I'm the one that's violating the rule. Why would I implement the rule that punishes the person that violates the rule when I'm the one violating the rule? If you were the one violating the rule, then I'm all about implementing the new rule.
Me
but
and
you
Ken
are not.
Are going to team up.
Are you?
Stage a coup.
You're going to vote? A coup?
A coup.
You've been here permanently a week, and you're talking about a coup already? Boy,
I move quickly.
It's going to be this is going to be a long, hot summer for us.
Summer's almost over.
Yeah, that's true.
It's going to be 50 degrees next week.
Man, it's going to be a long fall after
those
the
real
13th.
feels.
I meant to ask our previous guest, Mayor Glenn Jacobs, if he was going to the game next weekend. I bet he's going to be there.
I bet he is.
I would be willing to bet that. All right, any questions? 615-737-9986. Once again, for example, 4460. I like this question. We are not asking specific candidates specific questions about themselves, but it's up to the individual candidates. If they want to turn a 90-second answer into a 40-second answer and use the other 50 seconds to transition into bashing their opponents, I'm all for it. Get down in the meat, get down in the dirt, get down in the mud. Let's do it. Let's sling something. Question for Lee Reeves. If you win the election, are you going to complain you didn't win by enough? See, that's funny. That's funny because 4460 remembers that Lee Reeves was annoyed at the poll that literally had him in the lead, and he was grumpy about it. 615-737-9986, 20 after the hour. We'll also get to the CDC testimony, at least a minute and 46 seconds that you must hear from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That's on the way next on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Several of you bringing in the questions on the phone lines. Some of you choosing the super text line, and that's okay, I suppose. I'd much prefer to hear from you directly. Josh wants to ask Gino if he thinks he should fire the PR team that created his unbelievably cringy Fight. I kind of liked his campaign ad. Y'all think it's cringy? I kind of liked it. And if he should be automatically disqualified due to being a total moron. That's from Josh. Oh, man, Josh, you're being – I didn't think it was cringy. I thought it was, maybe a little hokey. But, I'll fight. I'll tell you, I'm not supporting any candidate. I am neutral. I am Switzerland. I think we got 4 good ones on the stage. And, frankly, we've got other good ones that did not make it to the debate stage. I'm all about it. I think we've got a good crop of individuals. It's all about priorities and who you think will represent you best in this arena or that arena. I just think we got a lot of good people in the race, okay? That's all I'm saying. That said, I know good political ads when I hear them. And have you listened to that? Have you noticed, Jackson, that Jody Barrett ad yet?
Yes.
Have you noticed what I've noticed about it?
They say his name in an incredible amount of time for it being 1 minute.
I counted them.
How many?
13.
16?
13. I think I counted them right. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 13 times they say his name, Jody Barrett, in that political ad.
They say Jody Barrett?
They say, yes, the Jody Barrett in the Jody Barrett ad.
The Jody Barrett ad. They say Jody Barrett.
Yes, they talk about Jody Barrett in the Jody Barrett ad.
They talk about Jody Barrett.
Jody Barrett.
Jody Barrett.
Jody Barrett.
Who's attacking Jody Barrett?
Barrett, Jody. Yeah, no, they say it a lot. I mean,
they say it an incredible amount of time.
But that, you know what that is?
Name recognition, baby.
That is name ID, man. They want to make sure that, good Lord, when you walk into the polls, if you decide to vote, you're not going to skip by Jody Barrett based on not knowing his name. And that's smart. That's smart. Some of you are saying, yeah, the Bolso ad is cringe. Realize that they thought it would be a good idea to channel Trump, but it comes across as a Howard Dean kind of ad. Love Gino. And 8726 says, love Gino, not a fan of the ad.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
99% of political ads are super cringy.
Agreed.
That's like, it's nobody makes a good one.
Hard to find a good one. I mean, I'm not even saying that the Jody Barrett ad is smart. I'm not saying that some people aren't going to hate it. I do think it's smart to get your name out there as many times as possible, and it's pretty obvious what they're trying to do. Of course, I didn't mind the Gino Bolso ad either. I thought it was pretty good. And, we're hearing from at least 3 of the 4 candidates here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN from an advertising standpoint, and you'll hear from all of them. I would be willing to bet you. I think Jody was on Chris's show today. I'd be willing to bet, and all of these candidates are going to be on my show at some point between Monday and the primary day, October 7th. We'll have an honest discussion with each and every one of them. We're going to have a great and honest discussion tomorrow night. I look forward to that. So I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just giving analysis as to what I see are good ads and what I see are bad ads. Heather is up with a question. Hello, Heather. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. I would just suggest, I wish this was for all debates, that they not be allowed to talk about each other, but just the issues. Just let's talk about the issues and not have disparaging comments about the other candidates.
Well, one of the things that we decided, well, not we, but the folks that created the rules, and that I left it up to AFP to create the rules. I'm just a moderator, but they decided to not offer time for rebuttal or time, if your name is brought up, and it was thought that this might lessen the moments where others' names are brought up. And certainly it's going to prevent bogging down so that one candidate mentions another candidate and then the other candidate rebuts and they mention that candidate in the rebuttal. And then that first candidate goes, well, wait a minute. They mentioned, you know what I mean? That I don't want to get into all of that. I agree with you. I want to deal with the issues and leave some of the negativity at home. I can't believe I'm saying that, Heather, but yeah, leave some of the negativity at home.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the suggestion. Ricky, we'll get to yours in a moment, plus suggestions coming in on the Super Text line for questions for the debaters happening tomorrow night on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 6:30 on Super Talk. All right, I promised some audio from RFK Jr. today. I'm going to deliver on that promise. If we can get to the soggy sweat piece, we'll do that. That's pretty good. Also, your questions for candidates for tomorrow's debate, we're looking for those as well, getting plenty of them on the Super Talk text line and plenty of them on the phone lines. I'll get back to those in just a moment. But as promised, from today, RFK laying it down regarding COVID.
Do you believe COVID-19 was politicized?
Yeah, the whole process was politicized. Senator, I mean, we were lied to about everything. We were lied to about natural immunity. We were lied to about, we were told again and again the vaccines would prevent transmission, they prevent infection. It wasn't true. They knew it from the start it wasn't true because that's what the animal studies and the clinical trials showed. We were told that there was science behind cloth masks. The CDC allowed the teachers union to write the order closing our schools, which hurt working people all over the country, and then pretend it was science-based. All of these issues, and then I can show you, like, for example, Chairman Wyden was talking about me politicizing ACIP. During COVID, probably the most famous scientist on ACIP was Martin Kulldorff from Harvard, the great, world-renowned epidemiologist and vaccinologist. And he criticized the COVID booster mandates. They ejected him from COVID because he wasn't in the orthodoxy. The two biggest health officials at FDA during COVID, Dr. Gruber and Dr. Krause, criticized the Biden mandates, vaccine mandate. President Biden said in August, I would never take that vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And he came in, he mandated it, and then he fired the two top health officials at FDA who said, hey, this thing has not been properly tested. So the whole process was politicized, and even today.
So I'm 15.
So that's what obviously John Cornyn of Texas had a little more time there, and he was starting to speak, and I cut it off there. So, I mean, it could not be more correct. I mean, obviously. Good for the Secretary of Health and Human Services to call out our government agencies in the manner that we should. We were, of course, lied to. And the lying started with the head of the NIH, Anthony Fauci, who should be in jail because I believe Anthony Fauci is directly responsible for hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people dying. Because if Anthony Fauci had been honest with the American people from the beginning, if he had stood up before the American people and said, listen, we've been funding gain-of-function research in China. We know of these Wuhan labs. We know what they're working on. And we believe that they either intentionally or unintentionally released something from the lab. This is a man-made mutation, and it's going to spread. I think this country would have reacted a hell of a lot differently. You think the Democrats would have argued against shutting down air travel from China if that statement had been made? Come on. Come on. You think people would have reacted? I know how I reacted. I'm like, whatever. I don't eat bat meat because we were told it was bat meat. Good for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I love his take on vaccines. I do believe that vaccines are a personal choice. I do understand why some communicable diseases, which have been eradicated by vaccinations, need to stay eradicated. I don't believe that all vaccinations are bad. I don't believe that COVID-19 shots were vaccinations. Y'all hear me? Y'all feel me? I don't believe vaccinations are bad. I don't believe all vaccinations are bad, but I don't believe I should be made to take any damn thing that I don't want to put in my body. Now, if what you believe I have is so bad, you might excommunicate me from your society or your life. That's fine, too. But no government should be powerful enough. No government should be powerful enough to tell me that I must be forced to put anything foreign in my body. And no government should be powerful enough to force parents to put foreign things inside of their children's bodies. Now, if communities dictate to those parents that they have to make some alternative decision about their schooling, I understand those debates. But I do not understand a government powerful enough to force you to take what they call medicine. No. Every man deserves to go to hell in his own fashion. That's called freedom. That's called liberty. Ricky has a question for the debate. Hey, Ricky, what's going on?
Hi. I enjoy your show, Matt.
Thank you, Ricky. Yes, sir.
So, a couple of difficult questions, actually. One, I'll ask them who's for the balanced budget, actually, or who's for fiscal restraint, actually. That's one of the questions I think that's important because of $37 trillion budget that we are running, and we are accumulating $2 trillion every year on top of it.
Well, let me promise you something, Ricky, because you listen to me for a long time, and I know you have. I can promise you that out of Matt Murphy's lips, there will be a question about our national deficit and debt.
Yeah, I've got a couple of other questions, Matt, quickly.
Yeah.
One is how many terms they want to remain in Congress, actually, and would they work for lobbyists or would they work for general public?
Yep.
I think it's good to.
No, I think it's good to get them on record with that sort of thing. I love it. I'll take those under advisement. I cannot necessarily guarantee the lobbyist question, although I'm writing it down. But I would guarantee you that you're going to get a question about our national debt, and more specifically about how we pass appropriations in the House of Representatives and the halls of Congress. So that's a hot tip. Thanks to Ricky. If any candidates or candidate surrogate happens to be listening, you just got a little angle on one of the questions that will be coming to you probably pretty early tomorrow with regard to national debts, and more specifically, demanding of our candidates specific directive as to how they will not vote and how they will vote regarding omnibus legislation. So there you go. Gene says, I have a feeling that Ricky is an alias. I have a feeling that you're wrong. I think Ricky is maybe not spelled like you would think it would be spelled. It's not Ricky, as in Ricky Bobby. It's more Ricky. What?
Nice caller.
Oh, no, he's a great guy.
Calls in all the time.
Yeah, Ricky's been calling probably since I've been on the radio. 1063 says, that's all we ask. Thank you, Matt. I'm not sure why it's so hard to get these politicians against RFK. I don't either. It is my, you want to talk about my body, my choice? It is my body, my choice, man. And if you tell me that certain things are so dangerous to the general public and society at large, and by the way, you're going against basic science when you deny the concepts of herd immunity. And I'm not here to deny the fact that we should have protected our elderly. We should have protected our young people. There were certain groups that I don't have a single problem with. As a matter of fact, what I'm saying to you is not anti-COVID shot. Y'all understand that? It is pro-freedom. I'm not preaching against the COVID shot. What I am saying is that each individual should do their own homework, recognize what is good about the shot, what is bad about the shot, what is effective, what is not, what are some of the drawbacks, what are the possibilities, what are the unknowns, and then make your own personal decision. Never should you be held against your will at the point of a needle. Never. And for the most part, that's what all of us were arguing at the time, that freedom, and it's anti-science to suggest that everybody should keep away from everybody else. The healthiest among us have to create a herd immunity. I was saying this in April of 2020 before we knew what the hell was going on. 1278, you're right. No, you can't smoke a joint. But you better damn well take this shot or we'll take your job away from you. Steve has a question for the debate. Steve, thank you for calling in. How are you?
I'm fine, Matt. I don't live in District 7. However, my question would pose to any candidate running for Congress, how accessible will they be when they return back home to Tennessee?
It's an excellent question, and I will individually certainly hold their feet to the fire with regard to, committing to make an appearance before the people of the 7th Congressional District. It doesn't necessarily have to be on my show. I would love for it to be on my show, whether it's my show or Chris or Chad or Dan Manders or whomever it might be. Make yourself available en masse to the people of the 7th Congressional District. Maybe it's not even via the radio. Perhaps it's at town hall gatherings or other public forums, or individually setting those things up with your individual constituents. You have to be willing to talk to the people. I'll give you an example. Andy Ogles will be at Big Bad Breakfast on Saturday morning, and I'll be the moderator of a discussion between Andy and myself, primarily dealing with the big, beautiful bill that became the big, beautiful law. Now, Andy and I will agree on some things, disagree on other things, but Andy at least is making himself available to the constituency that he serves in the 5th Congressional District. And I say good for him. And we expect that of the 7th Congressional District as well. 3376, have you ever put up a chain link fence to keep mosquitoes out of your yard? That's what the mask thing was always so dumb. So dumb. And you know what? I was compelled to do it, and I felt so stupid. If it is so bad that we have to mask ourselves up in the manner that we were masking ourselves up, then you shouldn't have those stores open. But that was they closed down. The government of the United States of America ruined lives. Well, and I say the government of the United States of America. I should say it more properly. The governments of the various states and local municipalities ruin people's financial lives. I talked to families that had worked for 30 years building a restaurant. There was one in particular in Birmingham I'm thinking of. I talked to families that lost their livelihoods, people that owned hair salons, people that owned other businesses that had been closed down for a length of time, and they shuttered entirely and that no amount of blood, sweat, or tears can bring back what was lost because of the government, because government decided to seize upon what they considered to be a crisis and turn it into a power play. We watched it happen with our own eyes. RFK knows, and that's what he was fighting back against, this idea that the pharmaceutical industry knows better. The pharmaceutical industry knows better. The pharmaceutical industry wants to sell what? Drugs. To who? Sick people. What do they need in order to do that? Sick people. Just think on it. It's 8 until the top on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Oh, I got a great job from Dandy, the dog. Thank you, Dandy. Appreciate that. Thank you, all of you listening to the Matt Murphy Show. We certainly appreciate you. Man, it's a Thursday. Feels like a Tuesday. I've only been here a couple of days this week.
That's what happens.
And that's what happens. And you know what? I'll come back tomorrow. Ask Lee Reeves why didn't he come to the West Haven candidate Q&A. It's in his own subdivision where he lives. His neighbors don't care for him. Okay. He didn't have a Trump sign in his yard. Wow. There's going to be I feel like there will be opportunities with regard to DJT to talk about the history, the past with Donald Trump. I don't know that Lee Reeves has a well-documented past. I think Bolso does. I think Jody Barrett does. I mean, obviously, Jody Barrett was against Trump in 2016. Question is, when he turned around with Trump, and, I've been told that, Barrett doesn't have a a long social media history or any social media history really at all in 2020, although I've not done the research myself. Van Epps, I don't know that there's a long history there, but all of them are Trump people now, boy. I mean, they understand. They better be Trump or better get out. So, we will certainly try to give them an opportunity to disabuse others of the notion that they are not Trump supporters and to talk about an answer to when they got on board the Trump train, etc. I'm very excited about it. I hope you are as well. The Friday starts off with, the usual. We'll delve into the news of the day. We'll get into Friday in the 4 o'clock hour. And then before you know it, we'll turn our attention to the moment at hand. Dan Mandis, thank you again. Dan Mandis of Nashville's Morning News is going to be in at 6:30 to give me a break so I can go and get all of my notes in a row and all my ducks in a row and get prepared for the debate that starts at 7 o'clock, which will be broadcast live. Some of you are asking if there's food. There will not be food at Cabaret. There will be libations or just general beverages, water, soda, whatnot. And it will be broadcast live on Super Talk TV. Also, if you want to meet the infamous Jay Willie, he will be in person with collar starting at 3 o'clock tomorrow on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Very exciting.
What do I do at 6:30?
You make yourself at home, pour yourself a drink, and enjoy. Debate tomorrow. We'll see you then. So long, everybody.